Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Wednesday, June the 5th, 2024. Hopefully, it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. On today's episode, we are just doing a quick rundown of things I know at 40. I wish I knew at 20. I wish I knew when I was 10, but, hindsight's 2020, as they say. I'm actually going to be playing off of this piece I saw from Chris Donnelly. It's over at chris-donnelly.ko.uk or co.uk, excuse me. He did a post on LinkedIn a while back, kind of like 12 harsh truths I know at 32, I wish I knew at 22. I'm going to kind of give the breakdown that he laid out here in an infographic, and then just a bunch of the stuff that I have learned, some of it painfully, along my own journey as well. So that is today's quick episode for you guys. Before we jump into that, a couple quick housekeeping things. One, obviously, you guys know the Jeremy Scott Fitness app is live and rocking. You always get a week for free. JeremyScottFitness.app. The link's in the show notes. Get access to all the stuff inside with me. We did load another premium program. The Rebuilt program is in there for you guys who are looking to move better, feel better. Emphasis and focus on functional movement. Overall mobility, tissue work, getting rid of the aches and pains and the things you guys have going on. That is a huge emphasis of that program. And then actually, I believe next week maybe I'm going to load the Ultimate Core Trainer from the Great and Powerful BG Gador. I have access to that stuff. It's 10 full detailed follow along, basically all encompassing core kind of trunk workouts you would take. Ideally, like 2 days in between each one of those minimum. I would say probably just do one per week would be ideal. So it'd be like a 10-week kind of add on to anything you're doing. That'll be free for all app members. It's not a premium option. It's just going to be in there on top of all my weekly workouts and everything else. So if you guys are looking for something to do this summer, we're always adding new things in there. It's always spicy. It's always fun. So JeremyScottFitness.app, check it out. The Ultimate Core Trainer should be live next week. And then the Rebuilt program's in there. The 47-day transformation's in there. All this premium stuff. And then I think we're going to do our Summer Advanced Metcon that we annually do here. I believe we'll kick that off in July, coming July 1. So be on the lookout for that as well. Do a grand prize winner for that. Fly you guys out here, hang out, have fun, and do all that cool stuff. With that, other things in the docket. Again, our mastermind group, if you guys ever want to check that out, looking to kind of change your career, entrepreneur life, business life, small, medium-sized business. Dave DiLorenzo and myself have been putting that bad boy on. The link's in the show notes, jeremyscottfitness.com/built-different-mastermind. You talk with us every single week. You actually get access to us every single day via text and our private Facebook group, and we connect with everybody. It's a nice little it's been a cool group. It's fun to see people grow and go from making, $7K a month to, $17,000 a month, and to see people be able to work less in their business and maintain the same revenue, and in most cases actually make more revenue. So have a better kind of work-life balance, and we help people kind of put those things in place inside that group. Short of that, I think my friends at GLab Pro still have the Memorial Day sale going on. That's where we get our protein, turmeric, collagen, and krill oils. If you check out the link below, jeremyscottfitness.glabpro, I believe the code is MD27 right now for 27% off, but hit me up if that is not right. I'm happy to help you guys out. All the other sponsors and promo stuff's in the show notes. And I do want to just talk about how your nutrition just kind of starts with your gut. And you guys know me. I take one thing every single day I never miss. It's my AG1. And honestly, for me, on top of covering the gaps in my nutrition, I eat as much real, whole, healthy food as I can. But gut health is vital to me, like I think it should be for everybody. And I know when my body's not functioning, optimally, it's more challenging to do everything. Obviously, go to the bathroom, absorb nutrients from your healthy diet. And so obviously, I take AG1, I put it in a little water, shake it, slam it, I'm good to go. To me, that's like how I kind of prioritize my gut health. There's prebiotics, there's probiotics. They had a recent kind of research study where AG1 doubled the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut, including two species that are known to support gut health, as well as the whole body. So if you're somebody who wants to have better gut health, overall better digestion, and just kind of cover, a lot of micronutrients that is hard to get eating all real food, That's why I take the AG1. If you guys want a free sample, 100% on me, hit me up. I'm happy to send it right to your front door. I don't care where you live. We will send you a free sample. But if you want to check it out right now, we'll throw in a year's supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and the 5 free travel packs with the first order. It's just drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott. So again, nothing super complex, nothing super crazy, but obviously it's the one product that I trust kind of for my whole body health. That's why I've partnered with them for the last, I believe, 8 years now. We've been going. So hit me up for a free sample. Otherwise, drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott gets you guys hooked up with all the free stuff today. So I'm going to check my phone here. Heather's texting me, and she is rocking and rolling on a flight. So I'm at my house here. You can probably hear my old 14-year-old dog kind of pitter-patter around. I got a puppy here that's asleep. I'm working from home because I've had to meet some of these contracting people here and different people. Heather's been traveling for work. She's in San Francisco for the last couple of days. I had a leak somewhere in my kitchen. Wasn't draining properly. They had to go in through the actual outside wall of my house. We have a brick exterior, so they had to break a bunch of brick to get to these pipes. And so I have not had a kitchen sink, and I have not had a dishwasher or anything in about 10 days so far. They're going to have to come rip out some cabinets, rip out some floor, maybe rip out all of my wood floor here, which has not been ideal. So we met with the insurance guy yesterday. I did dishes on Sunday in the bathtub. So that was first for me, and that was fun. So yeah, been on a journey here, meeting people for different appointments, from restoration people to insurance people to all the fun things, plumbing, you name it. Handing the baton off to Heather here when she gets back. So being an adult, they say, is super fun, you know. On top of all your other normal life bullshit you had to deal with, but man, yeah, the home stuff is never ideal, and it's never fun, especially water, man. Water, I feel like just kind of fucks everything up. And I said this in the last podcast. I think I was making dinner, and I had like stepped by my dishwasher, and I just noticed like a squishy kind of sound, and ran my finger across the seams of your plank flooring, and I could get water to come up in the seams, which is not good. So we've had these giant restoration fans blowing like a motherfucker for the past week here. So like watching sports or like trying to watch the UFC with these giant fans on, because they're so loud, you hear them all over the house. Not the most relaxing thing in the world, but nice little white noise as you go to sleep. But again, all luxury problems. I'm lucky enough to have running water. I'm lucky enough to have a house. I'm lucky enough to have insurance and money to pay for these things, even though it's an inconvenience. There's much worse shit that you deal with in life. I've lived through it. You've lived through it. These are all just, even though they're problems and inconveniences, and they're not fun, and I'll probably have to stay in a hotel for a good chunk of the summer here, as if they have to rip up all the flooring and do all that stuff. Still, it could be way worse, and we all know that. So that is what I got going on. So if you hear these dogs bark or something goes crazy, that's what it is. And just a season of life that you're in, man. You just kind of roll with the punches as they go. But I've had about enough of everything at this point. It's only June, and I'm about done with 2024. But here we are. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome day wherever you are at. Again, I'm playing off a piece that Chris Donnelly had put out called 12 Truths I Knew at 32, I Wish I Knew at 22. But I'm going to kind of do it from a standpoint of, things I know at 40 that I wish I knew at 20. And honestly, a lot of these, these are things that I knew a lot of them probably in my early teenage years. You're not like mindful enough to really like it like internally, or you've lived through it. You're just not aware of it or keen enough to see it, I guess, at that age, or to slow life down and really think about that. Quick side note, not to get off topic. We are doing a 1K challenge we threw up on Instagram. It's on the concept too. It's a 1K row challenge. We're going to send a bunch of free T-shirts, a bunch of AG1 to you guys. If you make our leaderboards, most definitely we'll send you something. So if you want to check out our Instagram, I did put up the time. The men's top like 10 or 12 times, and the women top like 10 or 12 times in terms of a 1K row. Uh, yeah, they're pretty fast. Even the slowest ones on the board are really quick. So you guys are gonna have to hustle and try. But even if you try and you don't make the times, we'll do a raffle, and we're sending out a free month supply of AG1 full container, full kit, D3, K2, all that stuff with it. And then we'll pick a bunch of you guys to send some of our hats and shirts and all of our kind of JSF gear that we have here in house. So that is an option for you guys. Check out my Instagram. I posted it, I believe, on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024. Depending on when you guys are listening to this, you can check it out. So with that, just some harsh truths. I know today, as a 40 plus year old man, that would have been awesome to know at 20 and younger. And the first one, I knew this early on because my dad would beat this into my head. That life isn't fair, and you all know this. Even if you do everything right, and even if you do right by others, it doesn't mean everything's going to go right for you. It doesn't mean you should expect others to do always right by you. It doesn't mean that you're going to get every job opportunity and everything that you try is going to work instantly. And some things are going to happen in your life, and some things aren't going to happen in your life. And some things are going to, sometimes the ball is going to bounce your way, and sometimes it doesn't. And that's just the reality. There's genetic winners in life in terms of how people look and move and how they feel, and there's genetic, what do you want to call them, lucky sperm that just are born into, a family that has $100 million and really nice parents. And there's people who are born into families where it's kind of an abusive, traumatic household, and there's no money and there's no resources. And that isn't fair. And a lot of things aren't, and the earlier you kind of understand that, the better off you're going to be. And I think that's something that we all inherently know. But as you get older, you really start to see it and realize it, because there's there's a reality that we all face, and there's a cruelty to the world when you see things, especially in America, but outside of America. There's so many places, again, like I mentioned earlier, that don't have running water, or they're living in a war-torn country, and it's not safe for them to leave their house, and it's not safe for them to, share their political beliefs or religious beliefs, and there's major, consequences of doing that, and that isn't fair. I was born in Minnesota. I wasn't born in Afghanistan. That's just, you have to just, there's a perspective and a gratitude to even when you're having a shitty year and a rough time and things aren't going your way. There is usually some light that you can see, even in the darkest of the times you have, especially if you're lucky enough to be able to listen to this episode on an iPhone or in your car or wherever you may be at. The second one, you have to make sacrifices in life. Everything has a cost. It's the old, the Thanos quote, what did it cost? Everything. That it cost everything. There's a lot of things in life where there's an opportunity cost for most things that you do, and you always have to sacrifice what you want right now for what you want long term. And there's a balance there, because you gotta enjoy your life. You have to live in the moment, but you also have to, if God willing things go correctly, do things for your future self. Do things today that the future you is going to thank you for. And it's hard to do. I don't know where to draw that Mendoza line. I did a lot of things in my younger years that I'm reaping the benefits of now today. But then you get to a point, you're like, well, what if I'm dead at 53? What am I trying to save money for when I'm 76? Like, I don't know where you draw that line. It's a tough one for most people. But no, with anything in life, you have to make sacrifices. If you want something, you're probably going to have to work your fucking ass off for it, and you're probably going to have to give up some things along the way. And how much you give up and for how long is really up for you to decide. And I did see a funny stand-up comedian. I have no clue who the guy was. It was a clip on like Instagram or TikTok or whenever we're loading a video, and he was just talking about like, I don't know why I exercise. I don't know why I work out. It's not to be healthy. He's like, because I don't give a shit if it extends my life. He's like, I don't want to, if I have to eat kale and drink, smoothies, and it extends my life and I get years 90 through 100, but they're the shitty years. What was the point? I want to die at 80 and eat, drink beer and eat steaks, which is kind of funny, and kind of true, as well. Again, luck of the draw, genetics, timing, you name it. Who knows, how long anybody has on the earth, but that's kind of a thing where like you're sacrificing all of this stuff now, to, does it give you years, 91 through 98, but you had to give up so much to get those 7 years. And so it's not just quantity, it's quality. And I think that's where a lot of things have to come down to. What is the quality of your life today, tomorrow, and then however many awesome days you get moving forward? The next one, the spotlight effect is real. Most people don't care about you. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Um, but I think most of us drastically overestimate how much other people are paying attention to who we are and what we do, and everything that goes on in our life. And when I was younger, I was guilty of this for sure. I thought like everybody would give a shit. And you really just have to go back to like when you're in like middle school or high school or something, you got a zit on your face and you think like everybody notices. And some people might, sure, but for the most part, most people don't give a fuck. They're just too busy in their own life, worrying about their own shit. And I think we do this on social media. People are like, oh, if I write this or post this or say this, or if I wear this or I go there, people will judge me. I'm like, maybe they will, but 99% of people do not care. They're too busy, they're too stressed, they have too many obligations, or they're just too mature to really sit and focus on you and your life. And I'm not under any assumption that when I leave work or when I come home or when I'm not posting on the internet or doing these podcasts, that people are sitting and thinking about me and what I'm doing with my life. At least I hope you're not. I hope you have much better things going on in your life, in your world, to sit and focus on the shit that, you know, you think I am or am not doing. So again, the spotlight effect is real. Live your life, do what you want, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about the judgment and what you think other people are thinking about you, because the reality is they're probably not even thinking about you at all. Next on the list, the wealth time equation. This goes back to making sacrifices. If you want to make a bunch of money, at least during certain seasons of life and at least up front, you're going to sacrifice time with your friends and your family to create wealth. You're going to have, depending on how much money you want to make and how skilled you are and what you do with your craft and how much your craft actually pays, you will have to sacrifice time with friends and family to create that money. And when you have the wealth, when you make the money, I can fucking promise you this, you will give it all away. You will spend it for time with your family and your friends. That is true. Um, Being rich, making money, being a millionaire, all these things, it doesn't solve every problem in your life. It doesn't fix everything. I am a living, walking testament to somebody who's worked 100-hour weeks for over a decade, and that's no exaggeration. That's just what was necessary, or what I thought was necessary at the time, to get out of all debt, to become a millionaire, to do all these things. And it does not solve all your problems. It makes certain things in your life easier, yes. When your house starts to flood and shit goes sideways, and you do have to pay for a good portion of that, because that's just how insurance works, if people don't know. It makes it less stressful, but it doesn't fix every other hole in my life. And what I can tell you is, from somebody who's done it, I value the time now so much more than I ever did. I had to give up a lot of things, to build a business. That's what entrepreneurs do. You're just going to work way fucking more than somebody who works 9 to 5. That's just reality. That's the cross you bear. That's what you signed up for. I did have to miss friends' weddings early on because I didn't have any money. I did have to skip out on family stuff and leave certain events because I had to go generate money. I had to make sure it's not even just the money sometimes, it's just the momentum of your business to make sure the thing stays afloat, to make sure you can keep it moving forward, like anything you want to grow in life. And now that I am in my 40s and I have, some money, I do spend it so I can have more free time away from just working, so I can be around the people that I do love and appreciate. And that's a wealth time equation, and that comes down to that whole sacrifice and where do you draw the Mendoza line. If you're completely broke, your life sucks. It does. I have been completely broke. I have been down to I've had a negative net worth when I was young, like I think all young people do, and all young people probably should. And I remember having probably $1,000 total in like liquid cash and paying $450 a month in rent. And so you're living on a string. That's not fun either. That's super stressful. That sucks. Now I had a bunch of free time. I could play basketball and lift and go hang out by the pool and really not work a quote unquote real job. And so that's not ideal either. And so there's somewhere in the middle for everybody. And just know that the more money you make, probably the more likely the more stress you're going to have to take on. The more shit you're going to have to eat, the more complex things are going to have to be. That's just it. For a lot of people, opting for a simpler life is a better option than for some people. They want to be, insanely high achievers and they need fancier things and they need to make more money. Only you can figure out where that wealth time equation needs to be for you in your life and what makes you the happiest. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. What makes you feel the most safe, the most secure, the most fulfilled, the most happy for you and your family as well. The next one. You've heard me say this 1,000 times, so I want to make it quick. Comparison is the thief of joy. Continuously comparing yourself to others is ridiculous. Again, we talked about this. Most people aren't thinking about you. We all begin at different starting points. Some of us start off on home base. Some of us start off on third. It's reality. Some of you got to just get a hit just to get on base. And some of you were born rounding third. It's luck of the draw, man, sometimes. So you can't compare your life to what you think other people are doing. You really have no idea what people carry. And Heather and I were talking about this the other day. It's Arizona's like 110 degrees like this week. So the oven is on and things are cooking. And so we're in the pool on Sunday and just talking about the amount of empathy I have now for people that I didn't have to this level 5 years ago. I'm older. I've had more life experiences, a lot of them positive, some of them negative. I've had people in my life, get cancer diagnoses and die in these things. And it gives you this sense of perspective and you have this empathy for people when you see them because you don't know what the fuck people are carrying in their life. You have no idea. Somebody might look totally normal. They're smiling, they're happy, they're driving the car that you think you want, they're living in the house you think they want, and they're literally like one step away from just like leaving the planet. And you have no idea. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or a combination of those things. There's so many highly functioning, super sad, depressed people who are just broken or just going through a really tough journey in life, and you have no fucking idea. And so now, I'm not saying it gives you a pass to be an asshole or be short or be whatever, but I do have an empathy for people now because I've heard so many stories. I've talked to so many people and I've had so many clients and so many friends have real shit affect their life. It gives me this sense of like, okay, I got to give people the benefit of the doubt because I have no idea how they feel right now, physically, mentally, or emotionally as they sit and stand in front of me. I don't know how, well they're doing. And so I'm just never comparing and always giving people, the kind of glass half full, point of view. Next on the list, you got to choose your risk. Again, everything has a price. Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man. Everybody's got a price. Man, the 90s wrestling, like pro wrestling, was just so good in my opinion. I don't watch it anymore because I'm old, and I fell out of it. But man, like Ted DiBiase, Million Dollar Man, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Legion of Doom, The Rockers. I mean, Jimmy Fly. Oh god, wrestling as a kid was great. Anyways, um, no idea where I was going with that. The Ted DiBiase quote. You have to choose your risk because everything does have a price. Building a business is not easy. Building a business is very risky for most people. A majority of them fail. And it's not just if you make it to 5 years, most of them fail after 5 years. The longer you go, the higher the chance is that it will fail. Because you're probably not going to pass on to your kids. You're probably not going to sell it. It's going to die when you die, or it's going to die when you stop doing it. Hence, Jeremy's Got Fitness. It's risky. It's not easy. It's hard to do. But being stuck at a job, paycheck to paycheck, it's also risky too. You're getting paid from one person that you don't have control over of the major decisions that they make. They could lay you off. They could fire you tomorrow. So I guess where I'm going with that is life is about, choosing your risk and making decisions and hedging your bets as you need to and going all in spots you need to go all in on. And only you can decide what's best for you. How much work-life balance do you need? How much money do you need? How much security do you need? That all comes down to just personality, in my opinion, and ambition and overall lifestyle. Next on the list, preparation is everything. It's the only real hack in business or in life is to be the most prepared person you can be. That's it. I'm not saying you got to be a crazy prepper, and plan for the end of the world, but it'd probably important to have a couple of things at your house, just in case something goes sideways. It's no different than having an emergency fund in your business or an emergency fund in your personal life, i.e., your, whole kitchen and house spring a leak and you got to rip out cabinets and flooring and repair stuff. Like it's nice to have money, like a contingency money to be able to pay for those things. Obviously, if you guys are looking at the world right now and the economy and the housing market and whenever they're telling you like it's all fine, it's bullshit. I'm not an economist. This is not financial advice. Don't take money advice from me, but I hang around a lot of really smart, high wealth, rich individuals. And I've had not one of them come in and say, things are going well. This is great. Nothing catastrophic financially is going to happen. It just isn't. They fucked it. They really did. And so what I'm saying to you is just be prepared with your money. If you have a lot of consumer debt right now and your nose is open, try to get that stuff under control. Have an emergency fund saved. If you're somebody looking to take advantage when things kind of go down, whether that's get into the market or buy real estate or you name it, it'd be a good time now to have some liquid on the side to take advantage of that, because I do think being prepared is everything. I'm not a genius. I'm not super smart, but I have gotten lucky with the timing of buying real estate and getting into certain things in business and taking advantage of certain opportunities because I just lived a certain way and had money to strike, when the time was right. So being prepared is critical. It's a hack in everything that you do, and just kind of, just be aware of the environment that you're in right now. Because I remember I bought my first place in 2009. Or 2008 even, the end of 2008, I believe it was. So after the 07, 08 melt, and I remember them saying like, oh, the housing market's fine. And then the next day, just a complete meltdown. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, different circumstance, different scenario, but there is some similarities in a lot of the things that are going on. So I don't know exactly what happens, but there's too much debt out there and the inflation is too high and people are struggling right now across the board. So preparation is everything, my friends. Just put that in your back pocket and we can revisit this episode 6 months from now or a year from now, and thank me if it helps you out in any way. But I wouldn't be sitting here today if I wasn't prepared when the markets um, collapsed. I would not have the net worth I have. I would not have the same business I have. Nothing would be the same. So take it from a guy like me. Um, Being prepared when the time is right is critical for your overall success. Next one, you must lead by example. Uh, I'm not a great manager of people. I'm not a great boss of people. It's not really what I do. I just try to lead from the front. I try to just lead by the example I set every day. I don't try to ask anybody to do something I wouldn't do. I don't ask people to eat a certain way that I wouldn't eat. I don't ask people to train a certain way I wouldn't train. I don't ask anybody who works with me to do a bunch of stuff that I'm not willing to do. Is there things that Monica does that I don't do anymore? Yes, 100% sure. She's just better at them than me. But I have done them in the past and I can do them. She just does them better. That's why she works for me. That's the add value. That's what we do. But I show up early. I work my fucking ass off. These guys always get paid. I don't slack. I work as hard as I can for as long as I can each day, and then I call it. And there's no one who's ever worked with me and for me that could say, well, Jeremy just packed it in and he really didn't, set a good example of like what hard work is. No, it's a job. I show up there and I do the job. Um, I do it the best I can. Even on the days where I feel like shit or I'm tired or I got 14 things going on, I do the best I can with what I have each and every day. And I try to lead by example in all things in my life and what I do. How I treat my friends, how I treat my family, how I treat my wife, how I take care of my business, how I take care of my home, how I take care of these animals, like everything. I just try to do, again, am I perfect? No. There's a lot of things I suck at and I'm terrible at. Um, that's why I picked a partner who's like a lot of things that I'm not, you know? And I try to be an example for her. And so I think that's a crucial one for everybody. And sometimes you don't know that. It's a phrase, more is caught than taught. I think that's true of students. I think it's true of clients. I think that's true of kids. They're going to see you doing things and learn from that your habits and how you carry yourself and what you do way more than the things that you just say, which is also important. But I do think um, showing people by example is the greatest tool that you can give them. The next on the docket, learn from failure. If you played sports at a young age, you know this. It's part of the game. Your life will be full of failure, rejection, and adversity. You try to spot the lessons as best you can. You play baseball, you hit 300, you're an all-star. That means 7 out of 10 times you're not getting on base. So your success rate is essentially 30%, where 70% of the time you fail. If you're the greatest three-point shooter in the history of the NBA, percentage-wise, I think it's Steve Kerr, actually. It's like high 40s. So it means half the time he misses. So out of 100 shots he takes in a game, if he's the best, like in terms of percentage, which I believe Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. We can use Steph as the example if you want. Steph is going to miss half the time. He's actually going to miss more than half the time. And you learn from those little failures. You learn from those little things, especially when you're younger. Like, oh, I'm not going to make every shot. I'm not going to get every hit. From losing, during a season, taking a tough loss. And you try to take the lessons you can from tough situations. And sometimes I don't have an answer. I just don't. It's an old Gino Auriemma quote talking about taking these, brutal kind of losses at the end of games or like in the Final Four, wherever the quote was. You can probably find it. And he's just like, I get it. I've learned the lessons. I'm good on the fucking lessons. And that's the way I feel after this year and just being, older and just talking with friends and people dealing with real life shit. Like sometimes you wonder, like, what's the lesson, man? And like, what else do I need to learn? Like, why else do I have to deal with this shit? And I know a lot of you have felt that, with things in your life. You're like, what am I supposed to keep learning from this? Why does this happen to me? Or why does this keep happening? Or why does this happen to the people in my life? And you start to, wonder, like, what is it? What the hell is going on, right? And so that's I do. I try to take the lessons in everything, and I try to take the positive in most things, and I try to have a belief, whether you believe in God or the universe or um, source energy or unicorn tears or whatever the fuck your belief is. Obviously, I grew up in the Catholic Church. I actually had to go and listen and pass tests, so um, I understand it, probably a little bit more, I guess, than like the average person does. I don't sit and just read the Bible every single day, but I did as a young kid. First communion, CCD, all that shit. Um, and so you have to look and be like, what if you believe in God or whatever your belief is out there, like you sometimes ask, like, what am I supposed to learn from this and take from this? And sometimes it's hard to see um, because the world can be just a cruel place. But it's a quote um, I heard a long time ago. Like especially if you're dealing with some shit in your life right now. And if you're over the age of probably 20, and even young kids deal with stuff. I couldn't imagine being a kid today with social media and the things that go on. But the quote is, what we lose in the fire, you know, we gain in the ashes. And if that helps any of you guys right now, if you feel like your life's on fire and you feel like you got 14 different things pulling you in different directions and you got stuff going on, what you lose in the fire, you're going to gain in the ashes. You'll pick them up in the ashes. I promise you that. It's the same we put on t-shirts. And the fire one, I actually might put on a shirt because now that I think about it, that's pretty good. I'm going to write that down. Um, it's the, when you think life has buried you, um, with some adversity, it hasn't. It's just planted you to grow into a more badass version of who you're going to be or a different version of who you're going to be. And I guess that's the takeaway is that we're always changing, we're always morphing, life is always changing and moving. There's nothing we can do about it. We just roll with the punches and we do the best we can with what we have. Actually, let me make a note of that. Fire shirt. Anybody looking for that quote on a t-shirt? Coming to you soon. I got 3 to go and I'm out of here. The next one, growth comes from true challenge, which is, to me, connected to the learn from failure. You're only going to become more resilient by exposing yourself to true challenges, and true challenges are uncomfortable. They're often difficult, they're often painful, and sometimes you might even question your own sanity. Like, can I get through this? Why do I have to deal with this? Can't this just be over? And I know especially for people when they have injuries, like, you rupture an Achilles, you tear your ACL or your quad tendon, or I got a client, he actually has a detached retina that he's dealing with. And there's just shit like that. And those things suck, man. Not fun at all. I got friends who, have wives battling cancer right now. And those are uncomfortable, tough challenges that, I would wish on nobody. And they make no sense to me. But if you can get through them, and you all know these people. We've had them on my podcast before, cancer survivors and people on here who they tend to have the best attitude. They tend to have the most gratitude. They tend to appreciate life at a level that most, quote unquote, of us normies don't understand. They've just become a more resilient, badass fucking human than we could be because they've walked through the fire, and they came out on the other side. Next on the list, consistency is everything. The person that keeps showing up the most is most likely to win. The person that consistently does mobility, consistently eats right, consistently invests their money, consistently pays their bills on time, consistently tries to be a good person, tries to improve, tries to break bad habits that are holding them back. Even if you don't do it every day, you're consistently trying and showing up, you're more than likely going to win and going to be successful, and you're going to make progress. And at the end of the day, you guys, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress and inching forward each and every day. So if you can consistently just do things, whether it's just 25 push-ups a day or 5 minutes of mobility each and every day, save $5 a day towards your retirement or whatever the goal is, consistently do it. You're going to win. And I said this on here a lot. It doesn't matter what you do some of the time, it matters what you do most of the time. That has the biggest impact. Having a beer here or there, no big deal. Having 7 beers a day, consistently, not real great for you. Working out once or twice a month, it's great, but working out 15 times a month, whole hell of a lot better. Consistency is the king, my friends. And the last one before I let you kids go, you got to start right now, wherever you're at. You're never going to feel completely ready to start something brand new, but don't wait for the quote unquote right time to start something. It's the someday island we talk about. Someday I'll travel the world. Someday I'll, tell my husband or wife how I really feel. Someday I'll, do an Ironman. Someday I'll stop drinking. Someday I'll stop smoking. The someday is fucking today. Just do the shit now, or at least put the pieces into play to make the change that's going to start happening now. Write it down, post it somewhere, tell somebody about it. Because again, you don't know how many tomorrows you will have. And we all get in that habit. And all of a sudden, like a month went by, and 2 months went by, and 3 months went by, and like, man, I still haven't stopped drinking, or I still haven't, changed my eating habits, or I still haven't made that appointment. Like, today's the day. You got to start now. Don't wait for the perfect time, because there is no perfect time. The best time to start was probably yesterday. The next best time to start is actually today. And that, my friends, are just some truths I know at 40 I wish I knew at 20. That goes next to, doing mobility work, taking care of your joints. Stop beating the shit out of yourself. That is something I know now that I wish I knew at 20. Every workout, you don't have to die. You don't have to dread going to the gym. Sometimes just moving around and having fun is ideal. Yesterday, I didn't get the chance to do my normal training. I didn't get the chance to eat my normal diet the way I wanted to. I was here trying to move these dogs around, dealing with insurance adjusters, on phone calls, shooting emails out. My day just kind of got sideways. Still got to do mobility. I did a ruck. I actually jumped in the pool with my dog, swam with them, and I had a fucking beer at 3:30 on a Tuesday. Pretty awesome fucking day. Now, was it perfect? No. Does it happen a lot? No, that never happens here. But that was the day. You do the best you can with what you can do. And now I'm saying this in terms of not just with the fitness part of it, but sometimes it's okay to have days like that. It's okay on a Wednesday, you guys, to go do some shit out of your normal routine. And now I was forced to do it for sure, but not a bad day at all. And that's something at 20 I would have been like, man, you got to be on your plan. You got to eat this. You got to train this way. My muscles didn't disappear overnight. I didn't gain 5 pounds of body fat. I didn't wake up feeling like shit. It was one day. Brings us back to the consistency piece that I was talking about. But my point is that you don't have to die in the gym every day. Sometimes just mobility, rucking, swimming with your dogs. It's a good day of exercise. I had 15,000 steps for the day. It's a good day. Getting quality sleep is important. When you're 20, you're basically bulletproof. When you're in your 40s, not so much. The sleep matters, and you try to get as much good quality sleep as you can. Is it always going to happen? No. But you consistently just try to have a nice, good sleep routine. Same thing with the food you eat. Also, text your friends, call your friends, send them messages, get on group texts, get on individual texts with people, share gifts, share memes, do whatever your version of communication is, do that. Call your mom, call your dad, tell them you love them, that you appreciate them, even if they're not perfect, even if they did some stupid shit when they raised you. They were kids, raising kids. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I'm sure, and again, there's always different circumstances, but for most people, they did the best they could with what they knew how to do. My dad sent me a nice note the other day, and him and I just going back and forth on dialogue. He's become pretty good with texting and sending videos and photos and things, and so it's a nice thing to have and to communicate. And that's something in my 20s I really didn't do. I would go, 6-month gaps without talking to my dad, and obviously, like, I live across the country, so I go, like a year, sometimes plus, without seeing him. Those are things you got to make time for. You really do. And that's shit that I really appreciate now and understand now that I didn't when I was younger. Because you always think you're going to have forever, but you don't. And you won't. And one day they'll be gone. And so, if you only see your parents, once or twice a year and they're in their 70s, how many more times are you going to see them? It's just shit like that, right? That as you get older. It's not enough to just know. You have to actually put the pieces into play. And the last thing I would say real quick is just appreciate the little things, you guys. Like a slower morning, an early relaxing evening, coffee with your husband or wife, a moment taking a nap with your dogs, a moment with your mom and dad. Whatever the things are that you appreciate, just really slow down and appreciate those small moments, the little ones. Your favorite song comes on Spotify, or you catch Tombstone, randomly on TV, or Shawshank Redemption, or Roadhouse, or Good Will Hunting, or whatever shit that you guys love, and just like, yeah, I'm gonna appreciate this next 27 minutes here and do this. To me, it's the slower paced, smaller, nostalgic type things that I really kind of cling to as I get older. And again, when you're young, you don't understand that. And I look back now on like all of the stuff, like playing sports in college with your teammates, or for me, just playing in the nocturne with these dudes for 25 years, and just how special a lot of those moments are. And you just have to appreciate everything you have in the moment in time you have them, because one day they kind of just go away. And so just knowing, I think this goes for, if you have kids or the people in your life, you just appreciate them at the age that they're at and where they're at, and just make the most of each and every moment. And I think that with, I look at it like in terms, like I have a 14-year-old dog and a 7-month-old dog, and I know this 14-year-old dog is not going to be around much longer. And so I appreciate every day so much. And then this other one is a puppy, and I know this phase, even though she's a psychopath, isn't going to last forever. So I try to soak up those moments with this young one, and I really try to pour myself into this old one, because it won't be here. And I think when I was a young kid, I never thought of any of that shit, dude. I thought my grandma and grandpa would be around forever, and they've all been dead for years. And so that's the takeaway. Just appreciate everything and everybody in your life and how precious your time is. It's why we harp on the 86,400. That's the seconds in the day. That's all you're given. And you don't know how many of them are going to keep coming, so just appreciate them and everything that comes with it, both the good and the bad, and find the joy and the happiness where you can. So it's been a little pep talk for the week here. So again, the harsh truths I know today, I wish I knew when I was younger. That's just from me and my own personal life experience. Hopefully that helps some of you guys, or gives you some perspective as you kind of head in through the week. All things you guys probably already know. Sometimes it's just nice to hear it from somebody else. And if this prompts you to make a connection with somebody today, or do something a little bit different, I'm happy I could have helped in any small way. And I'll take my own advice and apply it here as soon as I hop off of this pod. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Wednesday, or whenever you listen to this. If you want to hop on the app, hit me up. The Ultimate Core Trainer from BJ Gaddour is going to be in there in about a week or so. That thing is legit. It will light you up. It'll challenge you guys. It's free for all the app members. And again, the Rebuilt program is in there as well as a premium option. You guys can jump in there if you want something super detailed. I hold your hand every step of the way and rebuild your body from the ground up, from your toes to the top of your head. No joke. We don't miss anything in between. JeremyScottFitness.app, a week for free. Otherwise, check everything out when you're inside. And again, if you guys do want a free sample of AG1, hit me up. I'm happy to send one right to your front door. You can try it for free, and then get hooked up with all the free stuff from there. And then again, shout out to my friends at JLab Pro, where you get a protein, turmeric, collagen, and krill oils. You can use the code MD27, I believe, right now for 27% off, which is a huge discount. I'm happy to help you guys out there. And if you're on Spotify, drop us a 5-star, leave a comment. If you're on Apple Podcasts, drop a 5-star and leave a comment there as well. We appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys. We appreciate you so much. Like, subscribe, share the videos as always, and we'll keep them coming. We have over 2,000 free videos on YouTube, just Jeremy Scott Fitness on YouTube, for everybody who wants to pick up stuff there. It is there for you to help you be as healthy as you can. If you guys want to be added to the newsletter, hit me up. We'll throw you on that as well. 3 emails a week, every week. We've been doing that for the last almost 15 plus years. So That is it. Until next time, my friends, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.